Hey everybody, welcome to the Kyle and Not-Kiel show. I'm Kyle.
I'm not Kyle.
And we are doing our NFC Road Back to the Playoffs video broadcast. So we're going to take a look at the NFC Playoff teams and what we think they need to do to get back to the playoffs. And not just to the playoffs, but hopefully make it to the Super Bowl. And I kind of took the same approach that I did last time. We realized a little bit, he focused more on from the free agency perspective, where I kind of viewed it more from a draft angle. So kind of gave them a picture of both, like which way they could decide to go. So we're going to start out with the team that fell just a little bit short in the Super Bowl. We're going to start with the San Francisco 49ers. We're just going to dive right in.
I thought we're starting, because last time we started with the lowest seed and worked our way up.
No, we started with the champs, worked our way down.
No, we didn't.
Well, hey.
Kansas City was the last team we did.
Was it?
Or
Okay.
next to the last team. I think Baltimore was
Okay. All right, well, okay, fine. We'll start at the end. All right, so just kidding. We're going to start with 6 seed. Vikings.
Pressing it up. It's the coronavirus.
Coronavirus has struck the Kyle and Not-Kiel show. We're going crazy. All right. No. So first off, as he posted earlier on Friday, the Vikings, cornerback for me is their number one because they released Xavier Rhodes today, and then
Eagles were the lowest seed. They were 9-7. Oh no! You're right. Minnesota was.
Yeah, I'm like Minnesota was because they were the wild card.
I actually have my record here. So.
Yeah. All right. So Vikings, they released Xavier Rhodes, and then Trey Waynes, Mackenzie Alexander, and Marcus Sherrills are all free agents. Those are their top 4 corners. So for me, corner has to be the number one target in both free agency and the draft. Because you can't just keep you can't keep signing free agents off the street, but you got to get young too. And there's some good corners coming out in this draft class. And then just solely based off the playoff game against the San Francisco 49ers, offensive line and defensive line, they were manhandled on both sides. So to me, that has to be.
I don't think there's an offensive line in the NFL right now that can't get manhandled by 4 first-round picks on San Francisco's defensive line. That's a fluke of how everything has been. They didn't get manhandled in any other game. So.
No, but a defensive line, I think they need to get younger at, because that defensive line had some holes, especially earlier in the season. They were letting some big plays through. It's always good to get depth and youth at those 2 spots, because if you're getting mauled in the trenches, not much is going to go your way.
They did lose to the team that went to the Super Bowl. Yes. I always look at it that way. It's not like they lost to Philadelphia, and then I got them needing DBs and linebackers. I think they need to shore up, because what did happen was San Francisco was able to run the ball on a very good Minnesota defense.
Yeah.
So I'm going, there's something about getting run on that is like in the psyche of football of, okay, that's what we have to deal with. Because that can't happen. There's nothing more demoralizing than, oh, hey, we got 3. Do you even know who the running backs for San Francisco are? No, we don't. Okay, well, they're all going to get 85 yards plus on you. How does that sound? Okay.
Yeah, that was my third thing, was run-stopping linebackers.
I got DBs, linebackers, and I'm always O-line. You can never have too many O-linemen.
No, you cannot.
Yeah, the depth to me of the O-line is because when there's a drop-off, is a huge. It seems to be.
It's not like with wide receiver or linebacker or running back, where here's 1, here's 2. Usually it's here's 1, here's 2.
It reminds me of quarterbacks. Quarterbacks on offensive line.
Yeah. You cannot. Yeah.
It's dramatic. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's the Vikings. Next we have the other wild card team, the Seahawks. Clear-cut number 1 defensive end. Ziggy Ansah, Quentin Jefferson, and Jadeveon Clowney are all free agents.
Yeah, I'm going offensive line and wide receivers.
I have offensive line as my second one, especially a reliable offensive tackle.
The main thing to me is Seattle, much like Baltimore, every time they lose a defensive guy, some new defensive guy comes in and is the stud.
Right. One thing for me too that I really think they should go after, because like I said, they do need a tackle, and this isn't so much draft. This is actually free agency. Jack Conklin from the Titans. If I'm them, I'm making a hard push for them. You know, they had Mariota. He was a more mobile quarterback like Wilson, and Conklin did really well in that system. In fact, if I remember, I believe he almost got. There was actually a serious consideration for him to get Rookie of the Year because his rookie season at right tackle was just so dominant. That I really, if I'm Schneider and Carroll, I'm really looking at him and making a big push for him. And the outside linebacker and defensive back depth. So those are mine anyway.
It's like they've had a good defense for 8 years.
Yeah.
So it's like it always seems like them in Baltimore. It always seems like some guy falls off. They get rid of. Oh, this guy's the best linebacker we've ever had. Okay, well here's a guy who we don't even know his name is. Oh, he's the best linebacker we've ever had. It's like okay, I feel that way about Seattle's defense.
Yeah, no, I agree.
If what you said is correct, and you don't seem to be alone in this, there's other people saying this. Is if they could grab one of these top tier wide receivers in the second round, I'm just going Metcalf and somebody else. That's going to be a dangerous duo.
You know who would be good for them because he has experience doing that run blocking stuff. And this is basically, to me, he's also the clear-cut wide receiver one in this draft class. It's T. Higgins.
They're not going to get that guy.
No. But I will be very shocked if there's a wide receiver taken in the first 10 picks. I think we're not going to see a wide receiver taken until the end of the first round, just because so many teams see how many wide receivers there are that they're going to go, you know what? We'll take a chance on that. We're going to get something else first round.
And then I've CD something.
CD Lamb. Yep. Yeah, I have T. Higgins as wide receiver 1, and then CD Lamb is 2. I know some people have those two flipped. I like T. Higgins.
He's big. He's tall.
I like his personality more. CD to me, a little bit too much of a showboater sometimes in my mind. A little too diva-istic sometimes for me. And T. Higgins has that championship experience, which I do think, especially now, it really can make a difference because I know college football is big, but you're playing on the biggest stage in college football, which is roughly equivalent to the NFL for me. So I take championship experience into account.
I don't.
I do, just as higher pressure than a regular college game.
Well, yeah, but they're in the NFL. They're boys now. They're being told, "Hey, boy, back to the huddle, boy." They're coming up in Kingfish, and then, I just don't. I 2 years. You got to do it for 2 years in the NFL. Then I'm going, okay, I'll take you.
But yeah, all right. So Seahawks, we're in agreement, and that's basically just a general. Unless I'm saying it higher, and I think every team should try and get at least one wide receiver in this draft because there are so many good receivers that you can get one at value.
Well, and I know they're not in this. I didn't realize this. Miami has 3 first-round picks, all within the first 15, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
I was like, oh my gosh, they could be getting a quarterback, a wide receiver.
They control this draft.
Yep.
All right, moving on. We're going to go with the
Philadelphia
Eagles. Now we're getting to the Eagles. So number 1 for me, for them, cornerback. Ronald Darby is an unrestricted free agent. And they tried to trade for Jalen Ramsey during the season last year, and they missed out on that. I think they definitely need to take a look at cornerback in the early 2 rounds, or like I said, sign someone off free agent. I think you were saying that you could see them trying to make a push for Xavier Rhodes
or Byron Jones.
Yeah, I think he's going to go either there. Either one of them. One of them's going to land there.
Receiver first. I think they might get a wide receiver in free agency.
Yeah.
Like Amari Cooper or Emmanuel Sanders or
they need a guy that has good hands.
Well, and isn't injury prone.
Yeah. And that's part of the
I mean, in the NFL, it's always if you're healthy, you got to be able to stay healthy. But I go that, and then they're losing that big stud offensive lineman. He retired, so they're going to need to fill that offensive line.
Yeah, that's right.
They've got some interesting holes because it's not their defensive backfield isn't up to the caliber of playing Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, but it is fine for their division.
Yeah, I agree.
But they are going to have to be able to score more than 13 points. And I know they were injured. I know they had a lot of injuries last year, a ton.
Yeah.
From midseason, they had no wide receivers. But
yeah. Yeah, no, they got to get a wide receiver that can actually catch the ball. And yeah, they just got to get wide receivers. So yeah, that's one of them. I could see them being the first wide receiver being the team to take the first wide receiver in the first round. I could also see them, trading up to, if they are just dead set on making sure they get their guy. I could see them trying to trade up. And then offensive line.
I don't see them necessarily. I think it's too much of a risk.
Did I say trade up?
No, I don't. And I mean, this is just me speculating. I see them trying to fill that wide receiver and the defensive backs in free agency more than in the draft, because you're taking a huge, like these guys. It's like, okay, so I know Belichick's a good evaluator of talent. He took Not-Kiel Harry rather than the other two guys that were just absolute beasts this year.
Yeah.
So it's like I wouldn't say Peterson's a better evaluator of wide receiver talent than Belichick. So it's like, okay, I think anytime in the draft you're kind of rolling the dice with known commodities.
Yeah.
That's just my view of
no, and I do agree. I know there's a lot of people that think that. Offensive line, it's aging, and there's 3 or 4 other guys on that line that could retire. So take away. I meant to say trade up, like to the beginning of the first or the beginning of the second round to get a wide receiver, and use that first pick to try and get an offensive lineman.
I think that's what
it's like you've said. The last few years, offensive line and defensive line, they're filling up the first round.
Because that's where foundations are made.
Yep, exactly.
Defensive line, it's going to anchor that defense. I mean, case in point, San Francisco.
Yep.
If San Francisco did not have 4 first-round picks on that front line, that Super Bowl, well, they wouldn't have got to the Super Bowl.
No, they wouldn't have got to the Super Bowl.
So
it would have been ugly. All right, moving on to the New Orleans Saints. I'll let you start. I'll let you take these ones first.
I think right off the bat they need offensive line.
Yep.
I think they need offensive line. And then I'm kind of at a toss-up between getting a linebacker or a tight end. You can vacillate either way. Defensive front for New Orleans, they have a good defensive front. They have a pretty decent defensive backfield, but I know that they didn't really perform that well at the end. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And then Michael Thomas doesn't have a counterpart. Kamara cannot be. You can't go. Our number 2 wide receiver is the running back, and think that it's not easy for the defense to go. We have to key on these 2 guys.
Yep.
And go, okay, Breeze, beat us with this other guy, because he hasn't been able to.
No.
But if he has a good defensive or a good tight end, maybe even another receiver, then. But I do know he's in sync with Michael Thomas.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The tight end. I'm always bigger on the tight end anymore than.
Yeah.
Especially for an aging quarterback that can go boom, 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 boom. I went through my progression faster than most people do. I can hit the tight end because he's getting ready to do this. And then I also think, and I don't know if Bridgewater stays. I also think, and I don't think they're going to be going for those top 4 or 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But I think they got to be going, are we going to draft quarterback?
Yeah.
Because he hurt his thumb this year. Brees hurt his thumb. Didn't really do anything when he got back from his thumb.
Nope.
And it's like, okay, are you going to be caught with your pants down?
Yep.
If he decides, let's say he has an average year this year, and they go 10-6. do you now go, okay, well, we're going to hope that next year we can get a top prospect early on or not? I actually don't know because Breeze is such a top-tier quarterback.
Yeah.
Or potential to be a top-tier quarterback. Also.
Yeah.
So that's mine.
Yeah, I had wide receiver as well because he can't do it on his own. Michael Thomas cannot do it on his own.
That's the problem. He has been.
Exactly.
He goes down, and what do?
Right. Second, I have their secondary because Eli Apple and Von Bell are all unrestricted free agents, and Janoris Jenkins has a cap hit of $11.25 million next year, which there are talks that they're going to try and see if they can extend that cap hit out over a couple of years. And safety, or no, I'm sorry, and most people think their priority is going to be getting Von Bell, because if he hits free agency, that's going to be a big money market for him, because he played lights out last year. They need some linebacker decisions to make and quarterback. They tagged Taysom Hill with a first round tender, I believe. And so
nobody's going to give up a first round.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. So basically, that's just saying, okay, we get him for one more year. So I do think, because it's like you said, Breeze goes out, Bridgewater comes in, and the drop off is pretty non-existent.
They didn't score as many points, but they won every game.
They still won all their games. I think if I'm them, I think, you know what, sign Bridgewater to a modest 3-year deal if they'll take it, and give him a little more up front, show him, hey, you know what, we believe in you. I mean, it's who knows, He's
going to want to win. He's going to have the opportunity to start in other teams, unless they say, look, this job is yours.
Yeah.
And Drew's only going to be here next year.
Yeah.
Because he tasted 5-0.
Yep.
5-0. He tasted 5-0.
Well, where
came back from a horrendous injury too.
Oh yeah.
5-0.
You know where they're saying he's going to be? There's a really good chance he goes. Bridgewater.
Tampa.
Carolina.
They haven't gotten rid of Cam Newton.
Most people, it's basically been. It's not been accepted, but most people think he's gone. Like, it hasn't been stated, but what I've been hearing is around the league, most people think he's gone.
What are they going to do? Like, cut him?
I think so.
Oh, you think they're going to try to you think they're just going to cut Cam Newton?
They may try and trade him over the next week or so, but yeah, if I can't think of who their new coach is, but if he just absolutely says, I want Bridgewater, and no one's trading, yeah, you got to cut him so you can try and sign Bridgewater.
That's interesting.
I can't remember. I had it written somewhere and I couldn't find it.
I can't
What the
dead
cap
smart
hit.
for Carolina to do. It would be smart for Carolina to do.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think
But
Bridgewater.
they know Newton's injury. They know. They awesome guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, your video it started cutting out.
Okay.
They know Newton's injury.
Oh, they know what the extent of it is.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily know what they're going to want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, they do know what they're going to want to do. And they got a new coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to get a new one. He's got, like, is it Flores or Flowers in Miami? Want his guy.
Flores. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, he I think.
Okay, sorry, we're having a little technical difficulty.
Okay.
Don't move your head too much. When you start moving,
like,
when it starts freezing up.
Well, that's not what causes it to freeze. But it reminds me of in Miami, he's going to want his quarterback.
Yep.
And he's going to be able to draft his quarterback that he's going to be tied to. I think that's an intriguing thing. Bridgewater going that. See, I'm also.
Ever since I saw that, it's been stuck in my head.
If I'm Tennessee, I'm looking at him.
Yep.
He's just as good or better than Tannehill.
Yep.
If Tannehill wants $25 million, it's like I would take Bridgewater over Tannehill 10 days out of 10.
Yeah. Look. Yeah. Hey, Teddy Bridgewater, come to Tennessee. Oh, by the way, meet your new running back, Derrick Henry. If they can manage to re-sign both of them.
Oh, I think Henry will be the. I think they might transition tag Henry.
I think it's too late to tag. Yeah,
they were doing today. It was going today. The stuff I posted was from today.
No, I think it became official today. Because the legal tampering period starts tomorrow.
Legal tampering? That's hilarious.
Legal tampering.
Yeah. Okay, so we did New Orleans.
All right, moving on to the Green Bay Packers.
See, this another team to me. I think they could get, I'll get an offensive lineman. I think that'll help. But if they're able to get a wide, think about this for a second.
Mm-hmm.
If they go out and get Amari Cooper.
Yep.
Or Emmanuel Sanders. That just becomes Aaron Rodgers possibly could throw for 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards.
Yep. In fact, that's my top need for them is wide receiver. Because they're, Valdez Scantling and all these young guys, they did fine.
But that's not
right up until the end.
Well, no, they got handled.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They are handled in the end.
No. San Francisco handled them both times.
I know.
Hall of Fame quarterback couldn't put up 3 touchdowns.
Nope.
So it's like, okay. And I'm telling you, I think next year it's going to be harder for other teams. That front four for San Francisco is going to be better than they were. They're going to be better next year than they are this year. And it's because I don't think you'll ever see this again. 4 first-round draft picks. 4 number one. The ones. It's like, okay, that does all on the defensive line.
I think weren't 3 of them like in the top 5 pick too?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And then I think they're going to need a
offensive line.
I think they need a pass rusher too.
Yes. Now their pass rush was improved, but it still needs to grow.
I thought their defense did okay last year. I thought it was a pretty decent defense. Yeah. It's just that offense couldn't, when it mattered, they couldn't score points.
Agreed. And I also think they need to look at tight end too. Jimmy Graham and Mercedes Lewis are both gone. So they released Jimmy Graham, and I think Lewis is a free agent. So they need to look at the tight end position as well, because he seems to think about it. He's had some good tight ends over the years, and they've done really good. So Finley, wasn't it, back in the Super Bowl run? Wasn't it Jermichael Finley? He was playing.
He had Donald Driver, and he had good wide receivers.
Oh man, don't get me started. I always loved Donald Driver.
They had good receivers.
Yeah.
That's two good. Yeah. Two, in my opinion, they had 2 number ones.
Yeah.
That were lining up 1-2.
Yeah.
But I'm still not sold that they don't. Next year, Minnesota doesn't take that division.
Yeah.
I had Green Bay this year taking the division, but I could see Minnesota.
Oh yeah. It's not a runaway divisional win for the Packers like it used to be.
No. And if Chicago gets their quarterback situation under control, they're right back in it. Because don't count out Detroit. If Stafford played the whole year, they'd have had probably 4 more wins. They would have messed up the landscape.
Yep. And the Bears just made a good deal yesterday I think it was yesterday night. I saw they signed linebacker Danny Trevathan, who is one of the captains of that defense, to a 3-year contract extension. So he's not even sniffing free agency.
Can you imagine if Bridgewater goes to Chicago?
That would be fun. That would be fun. My Minnesota friend would be quite disappointed, but
sorry, Murray.
Yeah, sorry, Murray. You got a sad shout out. All right, so we're gonna move on to the 49ers. Go ahead, start off. What do you think their top needs are?
I got DBs because my Tariq Hill and Sammy Watkins had huge home runs in that game, and that San Francisco defensive line held them to not very many points for 3.5 quarters.
Yep.
Until they were just, it's like, okay, offense, we've done our job. So I think they need that. And I mean, I'm always on offensive line, but I actually think they need, because I'm not sure they're going to have Sanders. They should try to get him, keep him.
Yeah.
And because what happened to Marquise Goodwin? That guy didn't. I was like, okay, he didn't even.
Yeah.
He
did not. Did he get hurt?
I don't know, but he was fast.
Yeah.
So that would be my. I would say defensive backs, and I know Lynch is going to evaluate their defensive backfield and see what needs to be done. Because I could also see them making a run for Byron Jones.
Yep. Problem is they do not have much cap space. They're in the bottom 5th of the league in cap space.
Oh, it's going to depend on what this guy wants.
Yeah. I have interior offensive line. They could use probably a boost there. Wide receiver, and I have safety. Yeah, because both Ward and I can't think of the other guy's name. I think they're both most likely gone in free agency. Just because they're going to command more than the Niners can probably pay.
Well, and their defensive backs got beat in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
That was it.
Yep.
So.
All right.